Hi everyone. This is my video about what's wrong with the movie Sinners, and the answer is not a goddamn thing. In fact, I think this movie actually might be, how do I say this? This movie is so good that complaints against it aren't valid. It's on a different level. It's not a regular movie. So if you're like, oh, the pacing in the third, it feels like a slap should go across your face. Like, shut up, bitch. Well, shut up. Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? This isn't a regular movie. This is a movie, and I've seen this phenomenon over the years, where some movies, the movie poster will be at the movie theater, 2, 3 months before it comes out. Sometimes it's there like a year before it comes out, and then sometimes the movie never comes out. What I'm trying to say is a poster for this movie has been in a very prominent position at a theater I go to all the time for what feels like a year. Like every single time I go, it's there. But it was kind of like, because sometimes the movie just, I mean, there's also a poster for this cowboy movie and it's completely faded. It's been there for like 2 years. And I remember this happened with a movie called Gunman in the 1990s. Like, it will lose its distribution deal after they send out the posters. So I was like, when is this fucking movie ever going to come out? Also, it was like something 1930s, something vampires. I was like, okay, whatever. But anyway, I did well, not a day trip. Went to another city for the weekend, and my hotel is right near Alamo Draft House. So I was like, I'll go over to see what's showing. And then Sinners, well, they had a Warfare, but I already saw that, so I decided to see Sinners. It was interesting to me. I like Michael B. Jordan. I don't really like vampire movies, um, but I was like, I think this. I hadn't really heard much about it. Just one vaguely negative thing like, oh, they spent too much money because that's all they talk about now. It's just like the budget. But I was like, whatever. I got afternoon to kill. I have no plans until the evening. I went and saw this and like, bro. Like I said, this is almost review proof because so first of all, apparently there's a couple different versions, not like story versions, but like aspect ratio versions. So if you're in a large city, there's probably an IMAX you can go see, and different scenes will have different aspect ratios. If you just go to a regular theater, I think it's all locked into one of them. But anyway, this is set in the 30s, 1932, if I remember correctly. I always think it's funny when they get super specific. They're like October 10th. It's like, was October and the 10th really germane? You could just say 1932. So it's down there in the South, and you got two brothers. And one of the funny, usually I know a good amount about a movie before I go. But this was literally, I'm trying to kill an afternoon. I'm out of town. I just need something to do. So I didn't even know he played. I didn't even know he played twins. So I went into this, just like not knowing much. So it's twins going back to their hometown. They've been in Chicago for 7 years, working for Al Capone, or saying they work for Al Capone. You could just say that. But apparently, the grapevine was saying they work for Al Capone. They made some money. They come back to their town. Oh, this is going to be a spoilers review. Um, and they want to open a juke joint. Juke joint is like a dance hall for mainly black people. It's going to be on the outskirts of town, probably not officially licensed, or that type of situation, because they need a place to party. Now, I gotta say one thing. I kept expecting there to be a twist in their plan. Like, they were angry at a bunch of people, so they opened this juke joint to draw them there. But like, they literally just wanted to start a business. So they went, they worked for Al Capone, they saved a bunch of cash, they went home, they wanted to start it. So the first hour of it is literally just inviting people to the juke joint, going to a store to order the sign, and negotiating for the price. Like, there is only one supernatural thing in the entire first part of the movie, and I might have even misread that. So for people who saw it, correct me if I'm wrong. Does the snake regenerate after it's injured, or was that the camera kind of lingered on it like something magical was happening? Maybe it wasn't. So maybe zero things. There was literally a point where I was like 45 minutes in, is like, did I go to the wrong movie? Like I thought this is a vampire movie. So they're setting up, they're going there, they're meeting the old friends, family members. At one point, I thought, I thought Michael B. Jordan was talking to his mama. Then they started kissing. And I was like, oh, I guess that's not his mama. There's some real thick country accents that are a little hard to understand. Not throughout the entire movie, but certain lines. Um, and I know that sounds kind of lame. It's like, so it's just a bunch of guys getting ready for a party. You got to see it. You got to see the performances. You got to see the cinematography, the score. The funny thing is, I say this is a review proof, but it's almost, it's difficult to review because you're gonna say shit that you've heard before that sounds stupid. Like, I was tapping my toe and dancing in my seat, and like I wasn't doing that exactly, but I was kind of vibing. I think it's not a musical, but it is a musical. But it's not a musical, but it is. It's about music. It's about a lot more. Um, and so many. There's a certain. At one point, I was wondering if there was a conversation, because there's a way that people move and talk in this that's very distinct, but it all matches. It's I kind of have to demonstrate, like, everyone kind of, how would I say it, not like a kabuki thing. People move and talk in this kind of crisp way, and they'll kind of move from pose to pose and then hold it and then talk. And it feels like this was something that was like workshopped, before they started, because everybody's doing this kind of unique style of acting. So it's a mostly black cast, but when they have people who aren't black, they do very interesting things. So at one point, you have these hillbillies, and you're like, okay, it's a black movie, so of course, like, the bad guys are a bunch of racist freaking hillbillies. But then, like, they're like, we wanna play your juke joint. And then they're like, all right, let me hear your music. Now, in every other movie, the hillbillies would have pulled some old bullshit, just corny crap music. Instead, it's kind of good. And even one of the twins is like, they're good. Like, we're here to play music for people. They walked out here, like, let's have them play. And then the other brother makes a good point, and he's like, yeah, things are fine until he decides that somebody in the crowd is looking at his wife too long. And then the next day or tonight, they're burning us down. Like, no, they don't come in. And, it's a vampire thing, so they have to be invited in. But there is, I think the word is rich. Like, this is stuff we've seen a million times. It's just surface level. Like, there's this, sometimes I say, like, this isn't a period piece. This is just people with cell phones wearing fedoras. And there's even this, like, meme on TikTok where there'll be a period piece of, something in the 1970s, and they'll say, all these people know what a cell phone is. Like, they look modern. With Michael B. Jordan, with his hair, they do it, I think it's called a conch. They straighten it, but it's not completely straight. Usually when they do these movies, they'll do some sort of, he'll look like he just came out of a freaking barbershop in Chicago, like, right now. But no, he was, like, straightening his hair with lye. And so it looks like that. And there's just a authenticity to everything, to the way people talk. Like I said, there's some very thick country accents here. And the other thing, you can't really tell from the poster, but the cinematography, there's a thing, and, oh, this is Ryan Coogler, he's black, by the way. Very interesting accent. He says, like, he has S's like shush, but it's not like a speech impediment, it's like a local accent. So there's been a lot of talk about how cinematographers don't know how to light black people, and there was a movie a couple years, was it called Midnight or something like that, Moonlight, where like it basically just they're like, we finally figured out how to light black people after 100 years of cinema. And that one, it was to get qualities out of their skin color, especially in darkness and moonlight, that typically you don't get. This one leaned into their blackness. In fact, there's a lot of scenes where you can barely see any of their face. They're like, we're not going to try to dance around it. Again, the poster here is not representative of what the movie looks like. So it's like a, what is that called? Chiaroscuro? Like you're just getting like highlights on like one side of their face or one side of their nose. And this isn't in like extremely dark areas. So, the story is there's vampires, but what they do, like, I don't like vampires. What they do with the vampire genre is so interesting because what they say is usually they do like vampires evil or a vampire has a hunger they can never fill. This one is about community. When you become a vampire, you have all of the memories of everyone in your clan of, like the head vampire. And, but also if the head vampire is injured, everyone else feels it, kind of like the Corsican brothers or Tomax and Zammot. But they really sell this. There's always a point in vampire movies where one of the vampires is like, join us and you can live forever. It's like, yeah, at night I gotta drink blood. Theirs is like, join us and have a true community, not these, balkanized, separate communities of, quote, the real world. And honestly, it's probably the most enticing, like, yeah, but I have to die, and I don't think that's really me afterwards. I think that's just my body and like an evil spirit inhabiting it. But you have a good sell. Um, but yeah, so then at the end, it does become a situation of they're in the juke joint, which is basically just a barn. They're surrounded, and the well, it's not just they're surrounded. The vampires are intelligent, so they're like, yeah, we can't get in unless you invite us in, but also your family lives in town. There's 4 hours left tonight. We can just go into town and just start killing people. Obviously they still have to. It's gonna work. You knock on the door. Hey, there's an emergency. Hey, let me tell you about it. You just got to invite it in. That's all it is. So then it becomes a situation. There's a really great moment, and again, this is real spoilers, where there's a Chinese woman and her husband, and there's a real interesting thing in America with Asian immigrants and black people who came over as slaves, and that a lot of Asian immigrants will go to black communities to start businesses. And there's a bond, but there's also antagonism there. It's a thing. It's an American thing. Oh, just sidebar. Delroy Lindo is in there, and I think he might be a vampire because I used to watch him in movies in the 1990s when I was in my 20s, and he was, this middle-aged guy, and now I'm 51, and it's 30 years later, and he looks the same age as me. Like he hasn't aged. And now some people have said these characters, each one of them represents the seven deadly sins. I'd have to watch it again. Well, here's the funny thing. I got another afternoon to kill before my flight. I honestly feel like watching it again. It's that good, and it's very unique. Like I said, there's not other things to really compare it to. It's just damn good, and I was shocked. Ryan Coogler's 38. He's only 38. So, and like I said, I don't like to talk about the finance because I think that really ruins fandom. But Ryan has an interesting deal for this in that he gets first dollar gross. Gross is, you know, all the money, which is very rare. He will own this in 25 years. Now I know you say 25. He's 38. Just about retirement age. He'll have a movie that he completely owns that he can do reissue. He can do anything. So, damn, this movie's good. And at the end, okay. So here's here's another funny thing about it. Like I said, it's an hour of just learning about this small town, the people there, and getting ready for a party. Essentially, I honestly think I liked the first hour better than the rest of it. Now, at the end of it, there is a point where the Chinese woman is like talking to Michael B. Jordan. She's like, "Aren't you a soldier? Let's do some soldier shit. Come up with a plan." And then they fight. That part was probably the part I liked the least because I felt like that point it just turned into a movie, whereas the rest of it was like this real experience. And then at the end, we get some good old. I mean, once he breaks out the BAR, the Browning automatic rifle, you know it's gonna be good. You know it's gonna be good, and it is. So then, don't leave. So I got up to leave, because the credits started rolling. Oh, it wasn't a packed house, but it was pretty full. I'd say 80% full. Um, it's got like two more. It's like a Marvel movie, it's got two scenes later in the credits, and one of them way into the credits. So stay until you see the Warner Brothers logo, then it's actually done. But I consider this movie to be a masterpiece. I hear people saying best movie of the year. It's April, but it's the best movie of several years for me. I remember hearing that like people were sick of Michael B. Jordan, or he had fallen off. I don't know what that comes from, but yeah, he's here to stay. This thing was absolute masterpiece. One thing I want to talk about, very sexual, but in a way that's like real. It's kind of just like these are people and this is part of life. But usually, like in movies like this, it'll just be like just to show tits, and they don't do that. But there's just like it's life force. It's eros or eros or however you say it. It's part of life. You go out, you fuck. Like this is life. So they weren't cutting out like one aspect of it. It's like, oh, I just want to dance. Yeah, dance and. It's funny, since I review things, when I'm watching things, I'm always kind of writing and rewriting a review. And I had two that I was thinking of while I was watching it. And I was like, if you don't like this movie, you're a gay racist. And the other one is, if you don't like this movie, you're a dumb bitch. I know it's kind of rude, but honestly, it's true. Just see this movie. Don't be a dumb racist bitch. Friggin' masterpiece. Best movie I've seen in years. Best movie this year easily, even though the year is not even half over. Go see it. Don't sit inside. Go see it. Go out. That's part of what this movie is about. It's like going out. This is like a real spoiler. Like this is like a spoiler. Because it's not just about plot points, it's what this is about. So anyway, just stop and go see the movie, and if you're still listening, it's on you. So at one point, damn, this is like a real spoiler. One of the twins who you thought was dead is still alive in the 1990s, and the musician, he's now an old man. They meet up again. No, they don't kill each other. So basically it says, before everything went south, that was the best night of my life. That was the most fun. Just everything was awesome. And the other guys is like, yeah, me too. Like that was the best. And that's how I feel about this movie. Like it's the best. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.